Right guys, today we're going to look at why in traditional martial arts we use traditional blocking, yet then whenever you're in a self-defense situation, everybody says to do more combative covers, blocks and striking. So more of a boxing style striking, MMA style striking over doing the traditional. Now this is my take on it, and this is the reason why I can justify practicing the traditional and also practicing the more combative side. Now I've got experience in traditional martial arts, modern fighting and striking, so I'm saying this is what I believe, not what is the definition. This isn't what I'm saying is right or wrong, this is how I believe it. So I see it that when you're doing traditional martial arts, you practice these big movements. So we're doing big blocks, big punches, here like this. We're doing big movements with the body. Now the reason we're doing these big movements is to try and incorporate lots of muscles. Now the best analogy I can sort of give is if you look at a rugby player. They're in the gym, they're doing squats, they're doing sled pushes, they're sort of doing everything that's powerful, deadlifts. Now you don't see them running down the pitch with a squat bar on. You don't see them pushing a sled down the pitch. But all of this is going to enable them to be stronger, faster and more effective when they're actually playing the sport or doing it sport specific. So when they're on the pitch with the ball and other players, they're going to be a stronger, more effective version of themselves. Now this is exactly the same thing I see with traditional over more modern and more combative style. Now the reason you're doing these big movements is to incorporate more muscles. I see them as a training aid. So I see them as tools to help you get better. No way am I ever going to be in an outside situation or a fight when I have one hand on the hip and blocking myself out like this. I'm going to be covering here, rolling, slipping, using my more practical defences. Now the reason for that is because I don't want to get hit, I don't want to hurt myself. I'm not trying to live in the illusion that if I'm doing this big movement it's going to work, but by doing these big movements and doing these training aids and these tools and the patterns and these things to help me get stronger and learn to get more body weight behind the technique, incorporate more muscles, drop weight, learn how to make sure that I'm being strong, is to help me in a real life situation. Now if I didn't do those training aids, then those muscles might not be as strong, my body might not be as stable, my balance, my core might not be there. Now same thing if I'm doing an obverse punch or reverse punch or anything in these traditional big stances, it tallies into my jab cross. If I'm doing this big movement, lifting my weight, when I jab and I come in, 1, 2, nice and fast or nice and strong, it's going to be more effective because I've practiced it. Now my theory is practice both. I train a lot of taekwondo, I train a lot of kickboxing, a lot of Thai boxing, a lot of combative styles. I will always practice the traditional to help me get stronger. I still love it because I think it teaches you discipline, but I'm not trying to live in the illusion that that's going to help me and protect me. But it's a training aid. I could just say it's the same if I'm using rugby as an example, if I just played rugby. But don't you want to be stronger? Don't you want to be better? Don't you want to be more effective? So they're tools to help and aid you to be more effective. Outside, always I'm going to have my hands up, I'm going to be covering, I'm going to be striking, I'm going to be moving from these positions. I'm not going to be doing this traditional stuff. But it's all an aid to help strengthen your core, strengthen your legs, strengthen your shoulders, strengthen your arms, strengthen your body to make you more effective. So this is why when people say to me, oh, what's the point in doing that? Or people, the worst one I see is people live in the illusion that unfortunately that if they're outside, this is going to help them. I'm not saying it can never work, but I'm saying the chances of it being effective are limited because of how open you are. Now, if it does work, fantastic, but I'd rather be practicing something that I know I'm a lot more protected or I feel that works more often or works a lot of the time. So the reason I will defend the traditional is because it's a training aid, it helps you to develop. But you've got to practice real world, you've got to practice combatively, you've got to practice with your guard up, you've got to practice striking effectively. If you want to be a good martial artist, if you want to be someone who is effective, train the traditional, learn obviously the concepts, learn why you're doing it, what you're doing it for, learn why you're doing that block, ask questions, understand that it's a tool to make you better, more effective in the reality of the world. So that's my little take on it, just because I get a lot of questions about people saying, why are you doing this when you teach a lot of this? It's because it's a training aid. It's a tool to help me develop, to get stronger, that's then going to help me be more effective in the long run. That's why I train traditional and more modern. If I had to pick one to say which I felt was going to help you instantly, I would say more modern. Hence why with like my self-defense work, RS Self-Defense, it's effective, quick striking we teach. Obviously with a lot of other things, visit the page RS Self-Defense to learn a little bit more. But if you want to learn to be effective and to get yourself even better, then obviously the traditional is a pathway to help then you be more combative in the long run. So I hope this video's cleared up a couple of little things, just so obviously my take on it. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. This is how I see it and helps me train and help myself get more effective.